What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Dayton Triangles franchise here on Madden 25, also featuring 31 other team builder squads to create a revamped UFL. Now, this has been a really difficult season for us here in year number 5. We are just 1-4, but we have another primetime matchup taking on a divisional rival at New Welcome Stadium, where we will be welcoming the Pittsburgh Maulers. And even though it has been such a slow start for us, starting off at 1-4, we still have that golden opportunity to try to get back into the swing of things, because Evansville is currently 3 games ahead of us, but a win here and, maybe a little bit of luck on our side, we could get back into this divisional race. It is still very early in the season, and certainly don't want to take any of that for granted by any means. So, got a lot going on in this episode here, man. Definitely going to get into this Pittsburgh Maulers matchup, and I hope you guys are excited for this whole thing, man. If you are, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you happen to be brand new. But before we jump into this Sunday night matchup against our divisional rival, we got a lot of storylines, player upgrades, and possibly a dev upgrade opportunity as well. Let's go ahead and check all that out now. Alright, man, so we find ourselves in the meeting room leading up into week number 6, as, we have, like I mentioned, one of our biggest games of the year against the Pittsburgh Maulers, and you already know what time it is, man. You gotta beat your divisional rivals. But one thing that we noticed when we did film study earlier in the week against Pittsburgh is that they are very suspect when it comes to that interior run game, and that is just a match in paradise, because you guys already know that I love doing those inside runs, attacking right up the middle. And with that being said, we got to figure out what we want to do. I want to try to go ahead and see if we can get Jonathan McGriff at least 125 yards in this game. I kid you not. I think we could run all over this defense if we stay at it long enough. Meanwhile, when we find ourselves back in the coach's office very early on in the week, we have a conversation with Leon Thomas, as we've been noticing that Leon Thomas, he hasn't been playing up to his necessary, his level of play. And, so much so, he's been actually paying attention to that outside noise, where Ryan Clark, where at this point, I know, we said 10 years before we even started this series, just to get all those, team builder default guys out, or at least as many of them as possible. With that being said, though, 7 receiving touchdowns. I want to get Leon Thomas to up to 7 total touchdowns on the year, to see if that would be good enough to maybe, inspire Leon Thomas, to get right back on track. And if he does meet that goal, he'll get 4,500 XP and a plus 15 morale boost to go with it. As now we go later into the week, we actually have another meeting just to kind of get through things on walkthroughs, and we noticed something else about their defense. So we talked about how they are suspect when it comes to their running game, but their corners are also not that great either. Matter of fact, our quarterback Marvin Whitfield speaks up. He was mentioning how both of their starting quarters are actually suspect to throw the ball against. So this could also be a big day for both Leon Thomas, who definitely needs that confidence boost for sure, and DeAndre Bossier, who is starting to emerge as our number 2 wide receiver. And so our goal for those 2 receivers in particular, I want to see if we can combine for 15 catches between those 2 guys. And if we can make that happen, plus be able to get things going with the ground game, I think it's going to be a very nice performance moving forward. But speaking of DeAndre Bossier, we actually pulled him aside after the meeting just to let him know that, hey, he's been a really good asset for us, particularly in the last couple of games, and we're actually getting a dev upgrade opportunity for DeAndre Bossier, and so this is what we have to do if we want to make that happen. Alright, but the last thing that we do have before we get to go and step on the field is that we do have some upgrades that we need to go ahead and take care of. Starting with Joe Spears, a special teams type of guy you know, really a return specialist for us at this point in his career, but still a solid backup that we have on our squad, man. I'm gonna work on his power bank so that we can make him a little bit more versatile down on the goal line, and he does get a +2 to break tackle, but his overall will not ultimately change. He'll remain as a 74. Mitch Woodson, on the other hand, he has shown some promise here in his second year in the league and will get a upgrade that I think we're going to go ahead and utilize on playmaker to help really strengthen his ability to really be a difference maker on the outside. He does get plenty of changes here, pluses to awareness, catching, medium route running, and then most notably a +3 to release. He does remain a 73 overall, but it does look like he's more of a natural, like 73 overall, maybe even up to a 74 if it wasn't for the morale issues. Also getting an upgrade is our rookie in Darius Hayward. We drafted him in the second round of the UFL draft, and for him, I think I'll want to work on his possession catching. I really like his upside as a vertical threat, but I want to make him a little bit more well-rounded moving forward. He does get another overall upgrade. He's going to be up to a 68, but still being held back a little bit by that morale, but the +2 to catch in traffic should be pretty helpful for sure. And then two other backups on this roster that are going to get upgrades is Forrest Joseph, who we are still trying to develop a little bit. We'll get run stopper, and he actually gets boosted up to a 69 overall, which is pretty nice. Most notably, that +3 to finesse moves, as well as some power moves, awareness, and tackling being upgraded as well. And then Seth Knowles, one of our backup offensive linemen, is going to get an upgrade boost as well. We're going to work on pass protection with him, and he jumps up to a 68 overall after the upgrades were applied, most notably, of course, to that pass blocking. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get things underway against our hated divisional rivals in the Pittsburgh Maulers, as we'll go ahead and get things rolling here. Very first drive of the ball game as Pittsburgh does win. We actually won the coin toss, but we are going to defer to the second half as Rodney Sheldon's going to get the first play of the game. He's going to run up the gut for nearly a first down. He had a decent performance last week as he carried the ball 14 times, resulting for 61 yards. We'll see if he can build upon that this week, as this time they go play action over the middle as Ty Moody's going to be able to bring down the receiver quickly, but Pittsburgh already is standing on business, as the kids would say, as Pittsburgh is off to a very strong start as they'll go and try to go with the RPO over to the right-hand side, and it's a big gain for Adam Holcomb, who finds his superstar receiver in Barkley, as now Pittsburgh is deep in Dayton territory, and we need to be able to step up here quickly as Barkley somehow drops that pass. I mean, Holcomb actually dropped it right in the bucket there. I was very surprised to actually be able to see that completely miss, but Cameron Spencer is going to try to shut things down here a little bit as the superstar outside linebacker is going to be able to get some heat delivered. And now forcing a 3rd and 16, Holcomb in an obvious passing situation, looking to the right-hand side, and it's going to be brought down for a big first down there. And that is going to force Pittsburgh to settle for a field goal. So, a strong start for Pittsburgh, but their drive fizzles out as now we execute our game plan. And we were definitely right in terms of our ability to run this football, because that first run was extremely promising. That game plan really starting to come together, as now Whitfield drops back to pass, looks over to the left-hand side and finds Leon Thomas for a gain of 8, as you see what he did last week in the win against Salt Lake City. 8 catches, 72 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. You know, I was surprised when we saw him like getting some criticism, but we're going to try to get him back on track here as Jonathan McGriff is going to be able to surge forward for us and pick up that first down. And Jonathan McGriff, man, he's just one of those players where he doesn't get that explosive run like the same way that like a Paul Lindsay, who was on our team to start this series, how he would handle business. But at the same time, though, I am a big Jonathan McGriff fan, as hopefully that continues as Whitfield fires over to the right-hand side, finds Mitch Woodson, the second-year man, out of Oklahoma State at the very last second. And so with that, the drive will continue. A couple of plays later, after the first down, we will run the ball again with Jonathan McGriff, who continues to pound the rock on this first drive of the game. And we can tell that he is definitely going to be a point of emphasis for us already with over 40 yards so far today, as DeLeon Thomas is going to get our boys inside the 5-yard line for a red zone opportunity. Let's go ahead and finish the job here. 3rd and goal from the 1. It's power on power, and we just wanted more. Jonathan McGriff finds the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton. And the Triangles are going to retake the lead. They're going to find themselves up 7-3 here in the first quarter. So the first drive led to a field goal for the Pittsburgh Maulers, but we'll see if Pittsburgh does in fact have what it takes to get another score. As Holcomb lines up in the shotgun once again, drops back, has a pretty clean pocket actually, and will find his favorite target in Barkley, covered by the first-round pick in Jeff Sharp. That was going to be an extremely tough cover, one of the premium tight ends in the UFL, and he certainly showed us why that is the case right there. It's now 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. They are going to drop back the pass once again, looking over to the left-hand side, and actually did have an open receiver, but his receiver wasn't ready for it. We certainly got an extremely lucky break there, just not having any sort of awareness there. But maybe that could also be applied to us there as well. Trying to get the interception with Jeff Sharp, but it didn't trigger anything, so it's going to be 3rd and 10 instead. Looking over the middle of the pocket, he's facing some insane pressure, and Cameron Spencer is going to end this drive with his 2nd sack of the game. And that is going to bring us to the end of the first quarter of action. It's been a very closely competitive first quarter, but it seems like our defense came to play today, garnering a 7-3 lead. So let's go ahead and see if we can continue to build upon this pressure as we jump into the second quarter of action. We'll go ahead and hand the ball off on 3rd and short, and we will actually pick up the first down for Jonathan McGriff, but that was certainly a little too close for comfort. We'll have to do better in terms of being on schedule moving forward, as a couple of plays later, we'll go ahead and see Marvin Whitfield drop back the pass, but he's going to be hit as soon as he tossed that ball. So now it's going to be 3rd and 9 coming right up here for Marvin Whitfield, as Whitfield is going to go ahead and move things along in the pocket. See what Jonathan McGriff can do. Might be cover free potentially, as Whitfield woes over to the left-hand side. He's got Leon Thomas wide open down the sideline, and he dolphin dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton! And the lead is going to be extended after that incredible play. Not only have we built this 14-3 lead so far, but what we were also able to do as well is that we were in fact able to force a 3-and-out, so we could really put a hurting on our divisional rivals in the Pittsburgh Maulers. However, it looks like we're going to have to try and do that without one of our offensive linemen, as Connor Heck, our center, is going to go down with an injury. So Peter Whiteside, who is kind of like our 6th man at that interior guard position, so to speak, he's going to slide in at center for the time being until Connor Heck can be healed up, as we face a 3rd and 6 coming up. Whitfield dropping back, facing a 5-man pressure, and is able to find DeAndre Bazier, able to move the sticks for the first down. And because of that, the drive will continue, and we will also have a red zone opportunity, as we'll try to get it out to Leon Thomas out on the perimeter, but that is going to be incomplete as well, creating a 3rd and 7. Whitfield with 2 backs in the backfield, as they're going to try to set up this halfback screen over to Jonathan McGriff, but the pressure gets home too quickly. And what a really interesting turn of events. If that was caught, that could have at least been a first down, maybe more, but instead Pittsburgh is going to in fact take back over, because we did have to settle for a field goal. And you know, for as much as we've dominated this first half, it seems like
One convincing drive, and Pittsburgh's right back into this ball game, man. It is certainly could still swing in either direction. This game is certainly far from over. 1st and 10 coming out of the 2-minute warning as Holcomb drops back, looks to the left-hand side, and it's beautiful coverage played on the outside by Ty Moody, able to disrupt that pass and able to force a 2nd and 10 as the next pass will end up being completed right over the middle. Dwight Cunningham will be the one that makes the tackle, and it's going to be a new set of downs for the Pittsburgh Maulers. Their next play, Holcomb looking to throw over to the right-hand side once again, and this time throwing in the direction of, it looks like, Matt Arnett. That's going to be able to make a play on the ball there, as so that will force the incompletion. But Pittsburgh, make no mistake now, they are putting together a steady drive and a somewhat methodical drive as well, even though we are closing in on the 2-minute warning. And that is a beautiful diving grab by Denario Allen. And Denario Allen is going to make this 3rd and long. Let's see what Will Holcomb can put in place here as Holcomb drops back, looks over the middle of the field, and Nick Cotton was all over it. Couldn't finish the play as it was not intercepted, but he forced Pittsburgh to settle for the field goal, and that's going to take us into the halftime break. Been a pretty productive first half, and your Dayton Triangles are going to jump to a 17-6 lead, but now that we are officially in halftime, let's go ahead and take a look around the league to see what exactly is going on. So with that being said, let's check out some of the first scores that we do end up having. And it starts with Tampa Bay traveling to Chicago, as Chicago gets off to a 5-1 start led by former Pittsburgh quarterback Will Firth. They're able to beat Tampa Bay. And then in addition to that, our division rival in Columbus, well, they're going to fall to 1-5. So we have a chance to move up in the division thanks to the Charleston loss. We still have one more game being played on Monday night. That is Arlington and Atlanta. But here are some of the other scores around the league, just in case you are in fact interested in what's going on. So with that being said, boys, let's go ahead and jump into the second half of action as we try to build upon this 17-6 lead. We also get the ball to start the second half as well, so that's going to be beneficial as, you know, one of the big things that I do want to accomplish so long as we still hold a somewhat comfortable lead is that I really want to make sure that we get DeAndre Bazier his development trade upgrade so that we can upgrade him from just your average normal development guy up to a star dev. That would really help us out moving forward, as Jonathan McGriff's going to run the ball up the middle and he'll pick up a gain of 5 as that will set up us down. That will keep us on schedule for the time being as Whitfield drops back, throws over to the right-hand side, and one to get it out to DeAndre Bazier, but it ends up being slipped out. And now it's going to be 3rd and 5. Whitfield in the shotgun. He's going to drop back, throws over to the left-hand side. He's going to get it out to McGriff, who picks up the first down, spins across the 40-yard line. That's going to be his final resting place, but a good halfback screen in order to keep the chains moving. A couple of plays later here, Whitfield again in the shotgun, facing a blitz, and we're going to throw over to the left-hand side. He finds Jonathan McGriff. What a tight window that the 6-year man out of Old Dominion was able to fit it through, and that's going to be a first down for your Dayton Triangles, as that will put us in the red zone once again, but we're going to make sure that we get the job done as we want to add even more points onto the scoreboard. As there's your stats for Marvin Whitfield. He's been having a very efficient day, over 200 yards and a touchdown. Also very efficient with that 15 for 20 completion percentage. You know, completing almost 75% of your passes. That creates for a really good day. Well, let's see if he can complete this one in the end zone, though. And sure enough, he will in fact do so as he finds Leon Thomas in the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton. And the boys are going to get yet another one on the scoreboard, making it 24-6. And with another free and out force on the Pittsburgh offense, we already know what time it is. It is turning into splattering territory right now, as Jonathan McGriff has now reached over 100 yards rushing on the day. hasn't had that big explosive run, I would say, but has continued to gash his defense for what it seems like 8, 10, 12 yards on most carries sometimes. And it continues to move the sticks as Jonathan McGriff continues to put his fingerprints on this game, as Whitfield's going to dump it off to DeAndre Bazier. Now able to bounce it inside, and DeAndre Bazier off the dump off is going to be able to move the sticks again. So basically a goal line situation here as we're inside the 10-yard line. McGriff going to run it up the middle as he'll find some good running space in order to make this a 3rd and short situation, but another injury timeout. And Jonathan McGriff is actually going to be down. He is down horrendous. And so that means that we will have the former 2nd-round pick in Heath Whitehead in the game. And he'll have to come in on a critical 3rd and 3 as we try to get it out to Leon Thomas. But Leon Thomas could not hold it on. That might have been a 1st down. Had he hang on to it, it would have been close. But either way, we were at least able to come away with some more points as we continue to put pressure on the Pittsburgh offense. Still up 27-6 as Pittsburgh just trying to find some semblance of a rhythm in this one. It's been a very long day so far. 3rd and short coming up in what could be the last play of the 3rd quarter as they're going to try a toss play out to the right-hand side, but nowhere to go. As it looks like Cameron Spencer and Jeff Sharp, the 1st-round rookie out of USC, able to come in and make something shake there in terms of getting into the backfield. That's also going to take us into the end of the 3rd quarter. It's been a dominant affair as the Dayton Triangles are able to put up a ton of points while playing one of their best defensive performances of the entire year. We'll see if that continues. So with that being said, it looks like Pittsburgh will in fact change their mind. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. 4th and 2, they're going to run it up the middle, and there's quite a bit of running space for Sheldon. And Sheldon is not only going to pick up the 1st down, but they will also get across midfield as well. So Pittsburgh now has a little bit of life on this drive. Verf looking to the left-hand side is able to find the superstar Barkley down the sideline as Dwight Cunningham could not keep up in coverage. He has been a matchup issue, and he has been one of the players that really has given us a ton of difficulty in terms of actually covering him on a down-to-down consistency basis. But now that we're back down in the goal line, things are going to get a lot tighter down here. But we had a man wide but naked open in the end zone, and our secondary really needs to be counting those lucky stars there because that should have been a touchdown. Instead, it's going to be 3rd and goal for the 9. Holcomb looking over the middle. This time it is caught into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh, as Tavion Dixon gets Pittsburgh into the end zone for the 1st time today. But is it too little too late, though? 3rd and 9 coming up as our offense continues to be downright proficient. Not only do we pick up the 1st down, but in addition to that, we are able to go ahead and get an unnecessary roughness penalty on Braxton Bradford. So that's going to tack on another 15 yards. And just like that, we are on the precipice of field goal territory as our guys continue to get banged up. Leon Thomas is going to have to take a moment out of the game. Hopefully his shoulder injury is not too serious. So now Cam Johnson is going to come in to take over for the injured Leon Thomas. But thankfully for us, though, while we don't have that same dangers in the perimeter, I would say, we still have a very mobile quarterback. He's able to pick up the 1st down, so you love to see it. And you also love to see DeAndre Bazier getting busy with it. He finds the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton. And while it doesn't contribute to his receiving yards, that was one of the things that we needed in order to get that development upgrade. He had to make sure he found the end zone, and he made it happen. Plus, we have a free touchdown lead, so it seems like the lead is very much going to be secure. As now, we'll see if Pittsburgh can put together another touchdown drive. They did put together a methodical possession last time out as we see a throw over the middle, but Sheldon couldn't hang on. Just an uncharacteristic drop for Rodney Sheldon, as it's going to lead to a 3rd and 4 because of that drop pass. So we'll see if Pittsburgh can pick it up as they'll throw over the middle on the slants. Finds a man late in that secondary window, but Tavion Dixon is able to move the 6. So 1st and 10 now coming up as they get down on the on our side of the field. And oh, if I got there a little bit sooner, that could have been a different story. But don't know how that was incomplete. He was wide butt naked open there. And so instead, Pittsburgh is still searching to get down this field. And, you know, they're still moving the ball, don't get me wrong. But at the same token, they are struggling to get those explosive plays downfield. And, you know, while they are moving the ball, like I mentioned, there is a lot of time falling off the clock because of these particular plays. As Holcomb is going to go and scramble upfield. He's going to go down right before running into, I believe it was Ty Moody, that was going to be able to make a play. As now Pittsburgh is definitely in their no-huddle type of formation right now as we get into under 3 minutes left in the game. Looking around, firing over to the left-hand side, and it's deflected away. Ty Moody, one of our free agent acquisitions from, I believe, last year, is going to make that good deflection. And now it's going to be 3rd and short. Looking over the middle, wants to throw towards the end zone, but it's deflected away. Dwight Cunningham was there with the seatbelt coverage. And now Pittsburgh must convert. 4th and 2. Holcomb in a 5-wide set. Looking and faces pressure up the middle. It's the 1st-round rookie. No, it's actually it's Greg Sharp, who we drafted a couple of years ago. But with that being said, we're able to win this game so convincingly, taking down our divisional rivals 34-13. Alright guys, so what a win for the boys, man, as we dominate Pittsburgh, and it just goes to show that we are starting to find an identity. We ran for nearly 200 yards in this game and, you know, really dominated that time possession, which allows our defense to kind of focus in more and not expose them nearly as much. It was a well-executed game plan on our part. Now, a lot will be talked about in this running game that we had deployed in this matchup, but Marvin Whitfield was also very efficient. 290 yards, 2 touchdowns, had a very good completion percentage as well. He ends up going 22 for 30, and it was just a very well-played game all around by our offense. As for the ground game, Jonathan McGriff, in spite of not playing chunks of the 4th quarter, did end up going for 127 yards and a touchdown. Could have had a bigger day if he did not end up getting hurt, but all good though. Jonathan McGriff had a very good day on the ground. Heath Whitehead stepped in. He looked pretty good as well. He had 6 carries for 37 yards. Whitfield had a 14-yard run, and then DeAndre Bazier actually was able to find the end zone on the ground, which we absolutely love to see. Speaking of our receivers, it was a Leon Thomas type of day as he ends up going for 5 catches and 123 yards, most of that happening in the first half, but he did manage to catch 2 separate touchdowns. DeAndre Bazier, we got him over 75 yards, so he should get that development upgrade because we did also have that rushing touchdown as well. He had 81 yards, and then Grayson Heidick had a handful of catches as well in this one. But I think what I am starting to see in my defense is just improvement. This defense was terrible at the beginning of the season, but as the year has worn on, it seemed to have improved quite a bit, only allowing 1 touchdown in the game. Jeff Sharp leading the way, by the way, with 11 tackles, the 1st-round rookie, looking really impressive, while Cameron Spencer and Dwight Cunningham had 7 tackles apiece. Meanwhile, we were able to get to the quarterback plenty of times in this one as we ended up with 4 total tackles in the game. Cameron Spencer had 2 of those sacks in the first half, but 1st-round rookie and Jeff Sharp, as well as 4th-year player Greg Sharp, no relation between these 2 guys, they both were ending up with getting sacks as well, so you love to see that. Didn't get any interceptions, but we did have a dropped interception with Niles Cotton, as well as with a few other guys as well. But very well played by everybody, and we are able to have a winning streak for the first time all season. Alright, so after we get done with some of the action that we had on the field, we had a couple of press conferences as well as phone calls that we needed to take care of. And listen, I mean, DeAndre Bonsier did have that big game, as we mentioned, finding the end zone and, making himself the type of target that, has the potential to maybe someday be a wide receiver one here in the UFL. And because of that, he will get that development upgrade. He does get the star upgrade. And that's not the only thing that we received as well, because we got Jonathan McGriff, his running yards, our entire O-line, and our running backs all get 2,500 XP apiece, but we didn't get enough catches for our 2 receivers to get the upgrade here. Alright, so we do move on to the very next week, and actually our quarterback did end up getting Offensive Player of the Week for our team. He ends up with over 300 yards of total offense, as well as 2 total touchdowns. A very good performance from Warren Whitfield, and certainly a big reason, as I mentioned before, why we got this victory. But with that being said, boys, we are now starting to find a groove, but that million-dollar question is, can we continue that kind of momentum as we now go on the road to take on a pretty good Houston Roughnecks team? They're certainly better than us on paper, and they also have a better record thus far this season. However, if we played like we just did in that game against Pittsburgh, then we can certainly play with anybody in this league. We just got to continue to live up to that potential that this team has, even though we may not have the same level of superstar talent that we had last year. But with that being said, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video, as next time we will play this Houston Roughnecks game on the road. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you go ahead and do a couple of things for me. Hit that like button, and then also hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. This is John J. Game on the mic signing off, but hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.